Everyone. Please write in the comments if you can see me to confirm that we are indeed live. I otherwise would like to thank Revelation Nirongo, a brilliant young digital engineer. We'll talk about him later. He's been the one who has been designing our platform for going live on the Rise and Shine webinars. As a background, most of you probably know that I have been writing Rise and Shine columns in the nation newspapers from the 1st of October 2010 to now, which is almost 14 years. So I've written more than 1,500 articles in the nation newspapers. And during COVID, I no longer had a chance to do motivational talks. So I thought I could reach out to people by motivating them and training the public through online training. And we did with Revelation. He designed a way of doing that via Facebook later on, and now we're able to do it via both Facebook as well as YouTube and LinkedIn. So we're reaching people from across. We've done some of the webinars on Ask Them interviews, and we've done on making killer speeches. We've done making painful decisions. And this is actually the 7th webinar. On the flyers, we put the 6th, but we hadn't counted one. So it's actually, correction, this is the 7th webinar. So the next one that we'll do will be the 8th one. What we'll do is that from now up to about 8:15 Malawi time, I will present. And then you have about 30 minutes of question and answer. You can type your questions, and we will be able to be guided by Revelation. So thanks, Revelation, and also thanks to Innocent Samuel, my executive assistant, who has been assisting Revelation. And big thank you to all the media team in Malawi, UK, South Africa, Kenya, and many other parts of the world who have helped us to broadcast the flyer. Now, here I would like to give you a reflection, which says the best way to predict your future is by creating it. The best way you can predict the future is by creating it. Yes, we know God has a destiny for each one of us, but you also have a part to play. You can't sit at home and say, God has a plan for me. You don't study, you don't work, you're a student, and you expect to pass to go to university. So you have to shape your future, and that's the best way to predict it. And then another reflection is that winners never quit. On the other hand, quitters never win. So choose. Are you a winner? If you are, then never quit. Are you a quitter? Then just know that you will never win. You have choices in life, and that's it. So in terms of the formula, the infallible success formula, I call it the 3D connect, and I'll define this. So if you have a dream, if you develop yourself, if you deliver results, that's 3Ds: dream, deliver, dream, develop, and deliver. And then you connect with people, you build your social capital, then you will always be successful. People will bring you down, you rise up again. People take away what you have, you will have it again. You always be successful in whatever you do, be it academics, be it career, be it business. You have to dream, you have to develop yourself continuously, and you have to deliver the results all the time and connect with people. That way, you will have infallible success. Now, let's go to the details of it. In terms of dreaming, on my Facebook page, I posted an article about Lukaku. We know he's the most leading goal scorer in Belgium, and he's been an amazing striker world over. He even helped his team to go very far in the World Cup. And he released a story where he told us in the open that he came from a poor family. And one day he came back from school at lunch at home, expecting food, but the mother gave him diluted milk because they didn't even have enough milk. He asked the mother, "Have you eaten?" She said, "Yes, I've eaten." But he knew deep down the heart, mom didn't eat because they didn't have food. And he immediately asked his dad, "When can I debut for football?" And the dad told him at the age of 16. When he was 16, there was a game, and the coach was substituting one striker. Lukaku went to the coach and begged, "Please put me in the team." And he promised the number of goals. He hasn't revealed how many there were. And he says when he went in there, he delivered that number of goals. And that's how he broke it into the big game. I hope we can all learn from that, that he had a dream, a very powerful dream. You can talk the same with Serena Williams. Kamuzu Banda, we know. He always said, when I was at Gweru prison in Zimbabwe, I had 3 dreams: to give you, my people, your freedom, to build our own university, and to break the stupid federation of Rhodesia and Nyasaland. We got independence in 1964. The same year, Kamuzu opened university with the legal that we had. He didn't wait until he built the Chilunga campus in Zomba. He used the lecturers, teachers from Soch, and brought them to where there's Polytechnic now, as they were building Zomba. He did not wait until he built the campus. He used what he had. You too can use what you have to begin the path of delivery on your dream. It is said that both Bingu and his younger brother, Peter Mtarika, wrote on a mlambe tree near their home in Cholo, that they wrote that we will rule this country. At that time, Peter was only 7 years old and Bingu was 13 years old. The tree, I'm told, was short, now it is tall. But did they not rule Malawi? They did, because they had a dream. It is said, Mau Amalenga. So instead of saying, I think one day I'll get mad, tell yourself, one day I'll be CEO. SKC. I mean, we all know we lost our lovely vice president, state vice president. Everybody, looked up to him. He was a role model for all. But it is well known that he started dreaming long ago that he will rule the country. People who were with him at Chancellor College know that he told them, I will rule this country. I worked with him at Airtel long before he joined politics. He used to say he will rule this country. Even his boss, Giant Kosla, who was the CEO for Anglophone countries in Africa, he used to say, I know that your boss will be president of the country. So he was living his dream because he dreamed big. Obama too, he had a dream. I once met a Zimbabwean billionaire, Nigel Chanakira. He owned a bank. I had dinner with him in 2010 or 11. He told me that when he was young, he told his mom was poor. He said, don't worry, mom, when I grow up, I'll own a bank. And did he not own a bank? He did. Joseph Ratzinger, who became Pope Benedict XVI. When he was young, at the age of 5, a cardinal visited their local church. And he told his mother, when I grow up, I want to wear those clothes like that cardinal. He became not just a cardinal, but even a pope. When I was at the University of Malawi, the Polytechnic then, I had a friend, Gift Kawamba. He was my roommate in first year. He's well built, for those of you who know him. And he said he's a self-declared chairman of Yaro. So he was our chairman in first year. And in third year, he became president of the Students' Union because he dreamt that he believed he was a leader. And he's still a leader wherever he is, because you become what you think you are. If you think you're weak, you'll be weak. If you think you're strong, you'll be strong. If you think you're a leader, you'll be a leader. It begins with the mind. The mind is very powerful. Remember, we have 2 minds. We have the conscious mind, which is only 20% of the brain. But we have the powerful mind, which is the subconscious. So when you tell yourself, I will be a leader, I will be a graduate, it goes into subconscious and it's controlling you without you knowing, because it's in the subconscious. I never tire to talk about the story of my friend, Frank Roy Ziva. When we were in college, he sadly lost his father as he was going to university. And so they struggled a lot. But he used to come to my room and tell me, he says, I'm Frank Roy Ziva, head of department, chief engineer, the main designer, managing director, dean of faculties. Then in year 5, he added inflammable liquid. He's now in South Africa, owning big company and doing extremely well. And he's managed to amass all those titles except dean, because he doesn't have a university. When we meet on a lighter note, he tells me I also own a university, I become a dean. So you become what you say. Mau Amalenga. So what do you tell yourself? Now let's look at why should we believe in our dreams? Because when you believe, you determine what you become. You create your future to some extent. And when you're doing that, you make your mind focus on what you believe. Your mind is focused. You take your mind out of clutter. You take your mind out of what Saulus used to call, the trivial things. One of the 5 principles that guided Dr. Saulus close to him was to avoid being lost in in what he called trivialities, the trivial things. Many of us fail to achieve because we're busy with trivial things. People are calling you names on small things, but focus on the big picture that contributes to your dream, because belief is fuel, because belief is your inspiration, because belief influences your thoughts, including your powerful subconscious. Now, how can you create belief in your dreams? First is by you visualizing the result. You want to be a graduate. Visualize the graduation that you put on the gown. Look at the gown. If you look at the gown, you'll be working hard because you want to wear that gown. But then also protect your dream from others. Don't tell everyone about your dream, because number one, they'll frustrate you. They'll tell you you can't be. You can't be. So only tell people who can believe you. I remember in November 2013, at Rio's Hotel, Dr. Saulos Klaus Chilima was with me and two of his other friends, and he was telling us that he said, "I'll be your vice president next year." We said, "Why? How?" He said, "I'm standing, and I'll be, and the two other friends doubted him. I had the benefit of having watched a documentary on Obama, that he told 10 friends, and out of 10, 9 said, "You can't be a black American, cannot be a president in America." But one guy believed him, and that's the guy whom they interviewed on the documentary. So I chose from that lesson that I be the one who believes in him. I believe, but you could see literally that the two other friends thought he can't be, but I liked what he did. You could literally see that he switched off the ears not to hear the negative energy, because we get easily frustrated. So be careful that some of the dreams are killed by the feedback we get from friends. Many people will give you the feedback that you cannot do it because they cannot do it. They judge you based on their capability. So people will not judge you based on your capability. So be very careful. When they say you can't do it, what they mean really is that they cannot do it. They don't know what you're standing on. They don't know your capability. They don't know the size of your dream. So also draw inspiration from those who have done it. When I went to the University of Malawi Polytechnic in the first year, I spent a lot of time talking to students who were stars in engineering. There was Ndara in year 5, there was Mboma in year 5, there was Mambara in year 4, there was the Clement Nyirenda, who had been the best student in engineering. I spent a lot of time talking to these students. I even went to meet Dr. Gombachika, who was our lecturer. He had left big academic record at Poly. I talked to all these people to understand how they excelled and put down the notes, learn from them. And no wonder I spent a lot of time with Clement Nyirenda, who was the best student in engineering. The next year, he came to me to congratulate me because I became the best student in engineering, because I learned from him. And you must learn from the best who have done it, because the people who have done it will tell you Nzopeka, Nzoteka. But if you talk to people who have failed, they'll tell you it's impossible, you can't do it, it's difficult. So you must feed your mind with positive energy, positive words, positive results, positive ingredients, not the negative ingredients, not the discouragement, not the disappointments. There is no point. If you're going to talk to failures, they'll tell you about failures. If you're going to talk to people who have achieved, they'll tell you about achievements. It's simple, plain. You've heard many times they say, "Show me your 5 friends, I'll tell you who you are." So you want also to radiate with confidence. Osa opa, osa foka, osa topa. You want to walk with confidence. Believe in your dream. After all, it's never illegal to dream. Now, we've talked about dream, the first D. The second D is developing yourself. So number one is optimize your academic qualifications at every level. You have a certificate, you are earning 100,000 kwacha. You upgrade to diploma, your salary will go to 250,000. You upgrade to a degree, your salary will go to 500,000, even 1 million. You get a master's degree, you'll be earning 3 million to 4 million. It's simple. These are average numbers. I mean, so I have a friend who was in University of Malawi in the 90s and did a diploma, but did not finish to degree level. He worked for some 20 years or so. I told him, "Boss, go back to do a degree to improve your salary. Your salary will reach a certain level unless you go back to university." So he went to university, he graduated, then he got a new job. And I told him that once you get your degree, your salary will double or more. He called me. He said, "How did you know?" I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "My salary is more than double within 6 months of getting the degree. So go back. If you are at certificate, go and get a diploma. Go and get a degree." I was invited as a keynote speaker at the Zambia Institute of Chartered Accountants in Zambia in July. And one of the speakers there was Dr. Mtambo, Humphrey Mtambo. He's ex-military, retired as a major. He shared a very amazing story. He entered the Zambian army as a foot soldier, not officer at all. But while there, he was studying for accounting certificate. He got a diploma. Then they moved him from infantry into the finance department of the military. He kept going until he got chartered. And then he was now a senior accountant in the army. And he retired early. He joined one of the audit firms. He became a partner. He quit. He set up his audit firm. Now he's even as a master's MBA. He has a doctor of business administration. He's a PhD, and he owns his own company. He said, "I would have retired as somebody who is a security manager at a small company somewhere there as an ex-soldier. But here I am, a chartered accountant with PhD." So it's never too late. Have you maximized your academic qualification? But also, professional qualification. You need professional qualifications to be optimized. I have an example of Chinga. He used to work for me at Airtel. And every time he was taking holiday, he was going to do certifications, Microsoft certifications. He was doing certifications in infrastructure, many certifications. And that way, he optimized his skills. Because I used to tell him, look, if you want to really, at that time I was IT director and he was IT manager. I said, if you want to do well in your career, you have to get my job. I need to build you to take my job. And he was doing these professional certifications. When time came, there was an interview at Opportunity Bank for an IT director. He'd never worked in a bank. But because he had all these certifications in his field, he was able to beat people who came from the banking industry. And he became head of IT at Opportunity Bank because he had amassed all the certifications. There is a story of Rachel Mkandawile. She was working at Reserve Bank of Malawi, and she went back to school to get a degree, came back, got chartered in accounting, got a chartered in audit because she was an auditor. And there was an advert for accountant in commerce in Zambia. She applied for it. She had attended one of our webinars, and then she reached out to me. She said, "Can you coach me?" I looked at the certification. I said, "But here's the webinar." I said, "I watched that, but I want you to coach me." I looked at how much she had done academic and the certifications. I said, "I'll volunteer my time to coach you." I coached her. She got the job in Comesa, and 9 months later, she got a brand new vehicle, and she sent me a picture saying, "Look, thank you." So these webinars are not just for us to be here, but they're to change you. And she's here on this webinar again. She wrote 2 days ago. She said, "I benefited from this. I'm going to be back there." So don't just learn here. Go and apply like Rachel did, so that your life changes. It gets better. Now, as you're developing, you must develop today the skills that you need tomorrow. And in this way, what you need to do really is, if you're working as an accountant and the next job is senior accountant, challenge yourself that at accountant job, your skill level and what you do and how you do it is equal to the next job, which is senior accountant. So when there's a vacancy at senior accountant, you're already ready. We'll come to how you create that. Remember this one. So be bigger than your job. And on the job, learn it. Be like Mkambeni. When I was in third year at the University of Malawi Polytechnic, I used to intern with Stansfield Motors. And there were some mechanics who would be given a vehicle, dismantle the engine from 7 a.m. By 4:30 p.m., they must have fixed the engine, put it back. One person per vehicle. It was called the fast lane. Mkambeni was so organized that by 2 p.m. he has finished his engine. And the workshop manager would take him to go and assist a slow technician. And by 3:30, you have helped this one to finish the slowest one. Then they give him another one. So by 4:30, you would have finished his vehicle, plus help 2 others. For the awards of the best performing technician, he was always hammering it month on month. Why? Because he was well organized. When the vehicle comes, you would inspect it and know what he needs from who. And the first thing you do in the first 30 minutes, you go to parts people and tell them, I'll come, I'll need the injector, I'll need the ring, I'll need this. You go to electrical department, I'll need bulbs, I'll need that, I'll come later. And then he comes. So he's already told them. When he's coming, they'll give him. His friends are coming with the new request while waiting there. They wait 1 hour. He will have gone first time for 2 minutes to tell them what he will need an hour later. And the next time he comes, just collecting. So his time spent on parts will be literally maximum 5 minutes, while his friends are spending 45 minutes to 1 hour queuing and waiting. Number two, learn how to do things faster. When I was the head of technical services at Marswick, apart from connecting banks to each other via the wide area network, we also were running ATM or cash machines for 5 banks, including my licensed bank, Opportunity Bank, Nedbank, etc. And one time I observed that some technicians would only repair 1 ATM in a day, but there are some who would repair 4 or 5 ATMs in a day. So I wanted them to cross-learn from each other. So I organized a 2-day workshop for all the technicians to teach each other. And then there was the Cornelius Kapantenga, who would do 4 or 5 ATMs in a day. And then his friends would ask them, why do you spend so much time to do 1 ATM in a day to fix it? So they talked about the procedure of how they were dismantling the ATM, the cash machine, and reprogramming it step by step. He said, no, I just take the major disk, I remove it, I put in an ATM that is working, then I cron or copy. Within 45 minutes, I put it back. 1.5 hours, I'm done. So the work which was being done in 8 hours by his friends, he was doing it in about 1 hour, 1.5 hours, because he discovered a faster and a more smart way of doing things. When you go back to your work tomorrow or studies, anything that takes you a lot of time, think a lot about how you can do those things better and faster. This is how you become a star at everything you do. But also remember the 1,000-hour rule, which says that for you to become very good at anything else, you must spend 1,000 hours learning that. David Beckham, they were saying bend the free kicks like David Beckham. He spent 1,000 hours to learn that. When I was a student at Oxford University, I had a friend, PJ Toon from Singapore. And when we were finishing our PhD, he was doing history. He's back there. He's a professor of history there. The same college was where we were at Hartford College. As we were finishing our PhD in August 2005, he swam across the English Channel, meaning from England to France. It's 34 kilometers, non-stop. He swam for 12 hours, 24 minutes. I'm an amateur in swimming. I can't swim more than 10 minutes. I don't know. I'll sink like a stone. So I went to him. That time I was 26, going 27. I was 27. I asked him, I said, PJ, you are the first Singaporean to swim across the English Channel. What can I do as a Malawian to become the first Malawian to swim across the English Channel? He said, go and be born again. I said, what do you mean? He said, I started swimming when I was age 5. At age 27, there's no way you can build that capability. So start learning the big skills when young. There is no way you learn big things when you're old. It must all start long away. When you're a teenager, start learning. My friend, Dr. Rex Harawa, owner of MG Global, told me that a person who has not heard, he read it in the Harvard Business Review, a person who has not held a significant leadership position before the age of 28 will never become a big leader. So if you're below 28, please go and get a big position now, some leadership, because time is running out. After 28, you become an average leader. So be a head boy, be a student union leader, be club and society secretary. At church, be the choir master, or be, there's so many things you can do when you're young and you're developing yourself. And learn from the best. When I was working as IT director in Airtel Rwanda, I asked our CEO there, Teddy Bula. He was a very good CEO, Indian guy. I said, how can I become a CEO like you? He told me what to do. A year before that, I was working for SKC as my MD in Malawi. When he resigned, having gone to become a running mate, as he was packing in the office, I went there and said, boss, before you go, tell me how can I become an MD as well. So he sat down and he told me the notes. He said, be humble. He said, go the extra mile. He said, manage your stakeholders. He told me 4 or 5 things, which I kept doing. That was 2014. 2019, 5 years later, I became a CEO because I learned from the best. So learn from the best. Sometimes people make a mistake of always mingling with the only people around their level. You need at some time to engage with people at higher levels, people who have gone higher than you. Don't spend all your time with people around you. Spend time with the elders, people who are well above you, and not just spending time with them, quality time. And it should not be one way. Contribute to them as well as they contribute to you. That is how you will learn and become better all the time. But I also have a word for you. You're a manager. Build people below you. You're a CEO. Build people below you. When Dr. Salos Klosima was our MD at Airtel, he had 10 directors. And out of the 10, about 7 or 8 of us became CEOs. It means he was a good leader. I learned from him. When I was at Airtel as IT director, the 3-4 people that were under me, one is a CEO and the rest are directors. Now, many people don't want to train people below them because they think they'll replace them. No, it works the opposite. When you train people below you, number one, you become better, because when you're teaching somebody, you become a master of that. When you are just doing it, you're at maybe level of 8 out of 10. When you start teaching, you go to 9, 10, even 11, you even go beyond the maximum, you understand? But also, when you have trained people below you, it means now you can go up because you have somebody who can succeed you. But if you have nobody to succeed you, there's no way HR or the board will promote you because they need to keep you there. So when you think you're blocking others, actually you're blocking yourself. The equation is, the best way to block yourself from going up is to block people below you. That's the equation. And then there is this 3 to 5 year cycle. When I was preparing for this talk, I was just looking back at my work. At Shell, I worked for about 4 years. Masswitch, about 3 years. Airtel was 8 years, but it was 2 years in Blanta, 1 or 2 years in Lilongwe, 1 year in Rwanda, and 3 years in Nairobi. It kept changing. CEO of Bunnet, I was there for about almost 3 years. CEO of Helios Tower, I was there for 1.5 years. I think that your life should be changing every 3 to 5 years. You need to have a step up change. If 4 years you haven't changed, you haven't gone up, no promotion, you need to be questioned. You need a gear up. It means you're moving slow. When I was working at Shell, there was a 4 to 6 year rule that when you have a job, you will be there for at least 4 years, maximum 6 years. At 6 years, they move you out, because research had shown that in the first year of the job, you are learning. The biggest delivery is from year 2 to year 4. After year 4, you become bored because you're no longer challenged. It's second nature. You know it too much, so it's becoming boring. By 6th year, you lose your mind. You come late to work. It's boring. And so if you are listening to me now and you've done the same job for 6 years, go and look for another job immediately, because you are no longer productive. You're not superhuman. Any human being, 4 to 6 years, they start getting bored. At 6 years, they can't be productive. It's very simple. It means you're not growing. You're not developing. Now, there's in business, for those who do business, because since last year, I'm now an entrepreneur, there is a 7-year rule in business. Many people think that they'll start a business, a salon, a barber shop, a shop, I don't know, a bar or liquor shop, anything. They think that within a year, they'll make a lot of profit. No way, it's nothing, nowhere. It takes 7 years for any business to stabilize. There's no shortcuts. It's 7 years. It's 7 years. I learned this from many, and I've interviewed a lot of billionaires and independent, and it comes back to the 7 years. To test this, when I was at Airtel, I went to ask the people who were involved with Airtel Money, because I knew that we struggled for many years before it picked up. Now it's a very, very big business. I checked the time we started to the time when it now picked up. It was again 7 years. So there is a 7-year rule in business. You need the patience. Don't give up too quickly. Remember, winners never quit. And remember, quitters never win. So if you want to win, you have to wait for the 7 years. So we did dream, we did develop. Now we're going to look at deliver. Are you delivering? Do you always keep your deadlines? Let delivery and keeping deadlines be your brand. And how do you do that? You under promise and over deliver. So I'll give